Sheba and Sanjeev are old friends of ours. So, Ipshita, of course, related to Sheba in a way through the family connections. And they both come from that Bonidi body, this Maulik body sort of antecedents. Jeeves and I are the
The
interlope.
offsiders.
And both of you are the sons-in-law of Bengal, so
Yes.
which is
That's
why
correct.
this
No,
under tonight.
that's absolutely correct. And there was I'm not quite sure. Sanjeev did not spend as much time in Calcutta. He will, of course, talk for himself
No,
later.
that's not true. I
You
was
didn't spend
born
there.
in
I'm saying
Calcutta.
after the wedding. No, you said after the wedding, didn't you? Spend much time there?
No, so basically, between meeting Sheba, I mean, we studied together, right? We did our MBS together in Calcutta.
Yeah, yeah.
And towards the final year was when, you know, we actually started going around. And that time she used to live in Nazareth Villa, if you
That's
please.
how I know her. Yes. And she would
So,
wear the most amazing saris when she used to go on dates with you.
yes.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so that those are the good old days. And that's how it all began long, long time
Hmm.
ago,
But you were
1980.
born in Cal, Sanjay?
Yeah, yeah, I was born in Cal. I studied in Cal. I was in Lamatinia, finished off from Lamatinia. I mean, I started in South Point, then I went to St. Patrick's in Asansol.
Oh, my brother's
And
school.
yeah, and then around 79 or 80, I came, no, no, sorry, 69 or 70, I came into Lamatinia and then finished off from there and then went off to Lucknow for my graduation because at that time, there was a big Naxal movement happening in Cal.
Yes.
All sessions used to be running like a couple of years late. So I said, no point losing out. So I was packed off to my Nana's place in Lucknow, and finished my graduation and came back and did my MBA in Cal. And yeah, so that's how I met my wife, who's a Bengali, but also a Bengali who was someone who's traveled all around the country, so fairly cosmopolitan that way, and not very skewed onto Bengal per se. So yeah, so that's we got around chatting, and yeah, a lot of things connected up, and so began life together, so to speak. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
Because
we were so Shekhar, yeah. So just on that, between having met my wife and actually moving towards stages of matrimony, I mean, there was a gap of almost about 4 years. Yeah. So yeah. So there was fair amount of dating that time. Yeah. To get to
Mm.
know each other.
No, I didn't know that. I thought, but post marriage, no, we were talking about the Jamai Vapor. You see, yeah, that I
yes,
know
this
you spent in
Jamai Bapa
Calcutta.
you have to talk about.
Ah,
How does
you
it
have to
feel?
come clean on that. You mentioned to us last time that you were not. You told me before coming to the show that Shikhar, I didn't spend much time as a Jama in Calcutta because I hardly ever did any Jama Shruti.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you recall?
So yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I know what you're saying. So what happened
yeah.
was essentially
Mm.
Sheba's dad used to be in the army, right? So I mean, he was part of the the
Army Corps.
military. Yeah, correct. So
Mm.
the ordnance, like he was the controller of defense accounts and all that. So he used to be all over. In fact, Sheba's they were
Mm.
in Patna at the time when we got married, and then they moved
That's
to
right. I wanted to ask you that. I
yeah,
thought
and
Sheba's parents lived in Patna when she was. Yes, yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
and then they moved to Pune. So. Um, and I finished MBA and then started working in Cal and then moved after wedding. I moved to Lucknow, with Berger Paints. So frankly, there was not much interaction with the family per se. So a lot of, I mean, even though we went through a very traditional marriage, we had a Bengali marriage, we had a
You
normal,
wore a topor. Did you wear a
yeah,
topor?
one of those massive stuff, yeah.
Shekhar, did you wear a topor?
Yes, I did, of
Oh my
course.
God. And how did it
Not
feel?
against my how do I say uh, objections to the wearing the topor. I was persuaded by my good wife to wear.
and Ruti and
She
Topol.
said to me that this is the first wedding in our sorry, Jeeves, just to add
Hmm.
here, mine was the first wedding in the family. Just to my brother older than me, but he said, "Listen, if you're going to wait for me, you're never going to marry. So if you want to get married, get married." And I wasn't sort of going to do that in a hurry, but because I had got this ANZ offer in Melbourne, so her father said, Tuki's father said, "Listen, you might as not ANZ, sorry. At that time, Tata Administrative Services. What am I saying? TAS. I had gotten to TAS at that time, and so I was going to Bombay. And my father-in-law said, "Listen, তুমি যদি Bombay যেও ভাই আমার মেয়েকে তো একা ছেড়ে যাবে না." I said, "একা ছেড়ে যাবোই যাবো." Because, আরে বাবা কিছু বলা যাচ্ছে না, কিছুই বলা যাচ্ছে না. I will tell you, you have to stay back, get engaged at least.
Yes,
So
engaged.
I got
You got
engaged. So we
engaged.
engaged for 3 years. I met Ipshita like Jeeves met this one at the MBA. Tuki was, on the other hand, working for a short while when I was there at Clarion. So she was a copywriter, and I was a suit as in account executive. So that's how we met. And then, of course, and her father was also visiting prof at Calcutta in management, and we knew he was the board of Clarion. So few things happened, and then of course I didn't know. When we went out, I didn't even know if she was PK Malik's daughter or the Malik body. I don't think Jeeves also knew what he was getting into. Because,
Yes, that's also a Malik, isn't it, Sanjeev?
yeah. Oh no, we're a similar family. I think they have links. These two families are connected. So, but at that time I didn't know Jeeves at all. I didn't know Sanjeev at
So
all.
Sheba's Dana is from the Showa Bazar Wadi. That
But
is,
their family is much bigger than Ikshita's family. They say Shoa Bajar is
yeah.
more prosperous Malik. You see?
Hmm.
But Ikshita's
They're
family is
Devs,
not that.
Devs. They're not
Yeah,
Maliks,
yeah.
they're Devs.
Devs.
Hmm.
So, though they're relatives in some way, but I think the Shoa Bajar guys were very, very wealthy. And
But
Bonidi Badi, as they call them,
yes,
Shiba side.
but tell me some funny stories about the BA and what it felt like being the son-in-law.
So I
Jeeves.
actually went through a rehearsal actually. So
Oh
Sheba's
God.
so Sheba's sister got married before me.
Okay.
So
Ah,
yeah. I mean, even though they're only a year apart, she got married
yeah.
before us. So I was cordially invited for going through all the ceremonies, so that I
Well
could
done.
get used to the whole this thing.
Correct.
So hers was 100% Bengali wedding, so to speak. And yeah, so I mean, and I was very fond of that bong food. Yeah, so
Oh,
they
Oh,
that's to
very good.
die for.
they make you sit in those tables, and also Sheba was sitting
Yes,
next to me,
yes,
The
and then they were
shaky, the
bringing, and I was
shaky
very
table
fond
with
of
the
those.
paper.
yes,
Jeep, the shaky table with shaky legs and the
yes,
Yeah,
foldable ones with a
correct. And
paper
then
on
they put
top
banana
and put
leaves in
banana
front.
in front. Not
So
banana leaves, the shalpata, shalpata.
Shalpata,
yeah,
Shalpata.
whatever, very
Uh,
eco-friendly stuff. Yeah,
yes,
Yeah,
and
you
then
can stuff.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And
and then the
bhad.
guys,
Bhade to mangshu dai to bhade.
Correct.
then,
Bhare
then
Mansho.
to start with, they give you a bit of papad, and a
Uh,
few things come. Those are
Yes,
the
noon
like
and
your
lebu.
entrees.
Yes, yes.
They're like
yeah,
your entrees. So
yeah.
I was really like enjoying that dal puri. Yeah, like it was so, so tasty and stuff. Yeah, so Shiva said, "Don't pile on to so much dal puri here. More food is coming." so
Uh,
so anyway, then after that, and then they
yeah.
feed you so much that you really have to,
Mhm.
tell them, please don't serve
Yes.
anymore, man. Like it's like my stomach is gone, yeah. But that's supposed to be the hospitality, that
Yes.
you go through.
Jamayador.
Um,
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So yeah, so it was tremendous.
Mhm.
So when we finally got into
Mhm.
the area of moving to nuptials, and we started off with an engagement ceremony which happened at the Oberoi. I don't know if Saliha, you were there at that time or not.
No,
You
no.
weren't there?
I think I'd moved to Hyderabad or Madras when you guys got married.
Okay,
Because while I was at Nazareth, Sheba moved to YMCA.
that's right. YWCA.
Oh, YWCA. Sorry, not
Yeah, yeah.
YMCA. Yes, YWCA. Yes, yes, yes. And then yeah, I kind of, I think I moved to Madras when you guys got married, because we reconnected in Delhi when you guys came to Delhi, and we moved from Madras to Delhi, if you remember.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how it started, and then we went through our the engagement and everything in Oberoi's, and then a date was fixed, and then we had our wedding. The Bengali part of the wedding was at the Territorial Army Institute, which is just in front of Fort William and that between Park Street and like if there used to be the peeping restaurant on your right side.
I
If you
remember. Yes,
and if you
yes,
go straight down the crossing, on your left used to be the Territorial Army Institute.
yes. Now I can. Oh, yes, I can visualize that. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Now I see that.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
So that was the venue for the wedding,
And
and
and what was the menu? You remember?
oh
Was
gosh,
it a Bengali menu?
yeah, it was the usual fairly Bengali this thing. I mean, we had all the kashum, kusha mansho, and all the whole jing bang stuff. So everyone, I mean, and there was also a fair amount of vegetarian as well because there were quite a few. Like my dad used to work with the Birlas, so there were a lot of the Marwaris who were there.
Hmm.
So so they were vegetarian. So yeah, there was separate table arrangement for them and so on. And then the wedding happened with wearing all that shaka and all that you're talking
No,
about.
the topor. Yes, the
The
topor.
topo, whatever that thing.
Topor.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Shakha is what you wear. Yes, in your hands.
Yeah,
And
sorry, whatever that stuff. Yeah.
yes, topor.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Well, I
I mean,
mean,
you've lived so many years in Calcutta, and Shekhar
look, I
has
mean,
vanished.
that was I mean, it was a tough one to wear actually. I mean, in the sense, carrying that thing on your head with that tall thing. But yeah, we went through all the motions, so it was good. And yeah, and then after that, what we we were escorted to. I mean, all of us went to Fort William. I think that's the time when we had a massive thing. Where actually the first night is the whole family sleeps together apparently. So that's
Shekhar, it happened to you too?
Oh yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, what Jeeves is saying is sort of a repeat of that. I remember our wedding was at the Molik. That was, and remember, this is the Tambram, not UP Bihar connection. It's a different, complete. At least the North and the Bengalis have some similarity in culturally. Some of them speak Bong as well. I mean, I know Sanjeev's sisters. I love Sanjeev's family. I'm very fond of all of them, and they speak very good Bengali. But in my house, none of my mother's side, especially my mother was the 14th child in the family, right?
Sorry,
14th,
what?
14th. That was
Wow.
more than a cricket team, right? She comes
Yes.
from a village in Tamil Nadu, and they were one of the richest people in, like the India Cements. P. Srinivasan is a distant uncle of ours.
Yep, yep.
India Cements, Enfield Motorcycle, all same street. My grandfather was financier, then my mother's father. So she comes from a very affluent family. And my father comes from, how do I say, a typical Tambra middle class family. So there was always this question of, how do we, the cultural clash was already there. So my mother said to me, and it was an arranged marriage, if ever you get married, they don't get married to a Tamil boy, a Tamil girl, and second,
Wow.
and find your own girl. And she was very fond of Bengalis. So the hurdles were there. My father always, he's been living in Calcutta for several years before they married. So he was with Lipton Tea Company for 40 years. So he knew more bongs and English people than anybody else. So he was
And
very
you speak
comfortable.
fluent Bong?
I grew up in Calcutta, so my Bengali is as good as my Tamil. I mean, Tamil is not nearly as good as my Bengali. So when PKM, that is PK Mollik, my father-in-law, at that time he was the sheriff of Calcutta and he was PwC senior honcho, and then he was also faculty and all that. So the guy I didn't know him as Ipshita's father. So when Ipshita said, listen, my father wants to meet you. So I said, Saleh, I was just saying, we've just been going on for a year. She said, what? Do you have any other intentions? I said, no, I don't. But who knows? She says, no, what do you mean, who knows? You serious or not? They're not going on with you. So I said, I am serious, but it is too early, isn't it? No, my father wants to meet you. So I said, okay. So that was a Saturday club. The meeting happened, and then Ikshita came and sort of, as Deej was saying, he did a rehearsal due to the other. But here there was another kind of rehearsal. Here, kind of an audition.
It was an audition.
Ikshita said, you better don't act like you are not interested in this whole damn thing. Don't do that. My father is a serious guy. My mother is a very lovely person. You have to come. You want to behave yourself. Blah blah blah. So I said, in the car park. All this is happening in the car park. And my father is going to be. He wears the glasses like this. Those days they have this.
Yes,
What do you
Yeah,
yes.
call it? Ha. Oh, usually the box wallas wear that. You know.
yeah.
बंगाली लोग ऐसे ही करते हैं भाई तो anyway, so the Baba was having this thing, and then my mother-in-law, as I walked in, she says, "Hi, Dad. This is Baba. This is Shekhar, not Dad. Baba. Baba, this is Shekhar." And he said, "Hello, young man." And I thought this guy just came out of Cambridge. Yeah, tripod in Cambridge, isn't that? So he says, so he put, "Take your seat," and he was such a gentleman. Ma grew up, and Ma always had the thing. So this is a Bengali family. I come from a Tambram background where such niceties are unheard of. Hello, how are you? Yeah, shit, what have I got myself into? This is too far too classy for me. How how my people going to handle this crap? So, so sat down, and my father-in-law said, so anyway, this happened. We got along. And my father-in-law was one of the best guys. Later on became a good friend. I used to call him PKM, not father.
Oh.
And so my father-in-law, first meeting, he said to me, "Acha bolo, তুমি তো এত ভালো বাংলা বলো, তোমাকে বাংলায় আমি তোমাকে তুমি বলেই ডাকছি।" আচ্ছা শেখর তুমি আচ্ছা একেবারে আর কি খাবে বলো? আমি বললাম বিয়ার খাবো। আর আমার শ্বশুর বলছে যে বিয়ার খাবে? ঠিক আছে বিয়ার। তো আমরা দুটো বিয়ের পর আমরা হিসি করতে গেছি। Sorry, I can use this.
No, no, you go.
Well, my father-in-law says, they next to me, he says, "Listen, Shekhar, when I was going around, when I was seeing your mother-in-law, I could never have told my father-in-law in the first meeting I can have beer. You have broken the tradition." I said, "I'm very proud of you." I said, "Proud of me because I have a beer." He says, "No, exactly." So that's how my introduction to the Bengali family, Molly Buddy, started. And then, of course, the wedding. It was a complete. It's a kind of a Borat film, where it was all sign language, and very nice. Everybody was my mother's oldest sister couldn't speak English. She knew only Tamil, and Cookie's or grandmother knew only Bengali. So each time she asked her a question, she would say, "Acha ki bolche bolto?" My aunt would ask me, "What are they saying?" And I would say
Yeah.
this, and it was all in sign language. Hilarious to the core. So it
I
was
can
funny.
imagine.
And then for the Tamrams, you can't have non-vegetarian weddings. So when this happened, my father-in-law came over to my house, and he sat there with my parents and said, "See, we're Bengalis. How do you guys see the whole thing happening at the wedding? Because if you don't give mangsho and march and all that, it's a kind of an insult. But I will respect what you want to." My parents said, "Listen, on the day of the wedding, we will respect. You go ahead and do what you have to do. But on the day of the wedding, one session should be for Tamil Brahmins who will have only vegetarian. Is that okay with you?" So they said, "Oh, that's perfectly all right." That happened in Ronju Kaka's house. Ronjut Malik, that actor.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Ronjut Kaka is my father-in-law's brother,
Okay.
cousin. So, so Ronju, they all stay together, same. So it was in his quarters. So we had this in the lawn. We had something. Then, of course, when the evening happened, some of the Tamils thought they were also invited and just landed in Brompton.
So talking
We
Jama.
didn't have, no, we didn't have this RSVP call for lunch, dinner. We just did
No.
everywhere. So a lot of these bandicoots landed up for the evening also. So they say, "Hey, there is chicken there. Hey, there is crab there." I said, "What is this happening here?" So everyone's talking about this. There's a pitch. You will cry. Shekhar, Tura, shop. Everybody's calm. Your relatives have come. What do we do with the food? I said, let them eat whatever's there. Very few will say, Alurdam kitchen. There's no only Alurdam left. I said, bring more Alurdam. Just give it to them, Alurdam, chotchari. So this was happening.
And all the tambrams ate aloo dum and chachuri
And they were loving it. They were
And
loving it.
luchis.
And
and
luchis.
luchis.
And that was a major metamorphosis in the sense Tambrams were actually enjoying watching the bongs dig into their mangsho. And they were saying, oh, it looks very good only. So I said, yes, it
Very
does.
good.
So, it is a very hilarious combination. And then, of course, when big one happened at Fort William, as Jeeves had it, that was 2000, where, my father-in-law was one of the actors for Satyajit Ray, so Ray was there. Mrinal Sen, who was a good friend of mine, Mrinalda was there. And then we had all these people, everyone, all the Bengalis. So Mrinalda came and told me, as a Sean Shekhar, listen to me. You are getting married into a Bengali family. Modhobito, they are Mollikbari, oldest Bengali family in Kolkata. When your child happens, first thing they will ask you, what do you say when the grandfather comes? What? কি বলে? হাত গুড়োলে নাড়ু দেব এম না- হাত
Yes.
গুড়োলে নাড়ু নইলে নাড়ু এমনি দেব
কোথায় পাবো?
এটা
Yes.
আমাদের কোথায় পাবো whatever হাত
Yes.
গুড়োলে নাড়ু
What does
দেব
that mean? Yeah.
So you basically teaching motor skills to the child.
yeah
So
Okay.
it comes like all of us. Yes, we've all taught our children that. Hath ghurare naru. It makes no sense. It's just teaching kids motor skills. That's all.
yes yes
But I taught my girls all the Bengali lullabies. I
you're
didn't
such
even
a nice girl.
realize I
Yeah.
knew, but I knew them. But
You've been
yeah.
horrible. My children don't know Tamil or Bengali anything properly, so Uchita and I'm not proud of that.
Yeah.
No, I must say
But
both my
anyway,
girls understand both Hindi and Bengali, but none of them will speak
yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
Sammy's
Yeah. The
better.
same thing with my son.
Same
Yeah.
with, yeah, same with the Rajiv. I don't know about Sanjay.
No,
Sanjay,
the
which
same,
is
same.
Sanjay.
He understands, but he can't. I
Same
mean,
with
when
Ricky.
Yeah.
he
But Ricky
tries
now,
a
you know
bit of
what?
Hindi with us,
Yeah.
but with that anglicized, kind of accent. But
But
it's
Ricky,
Yeah.
my son, it's interesting. He goes, when he had his first girlfriend in
Okay, Mukul is
USA,
coming in. I'm going to tell him to come in. Keep going.
yeah, yeah.
but you know what, Sanjeev, when he had
Hmm.
his girlfriend here locally, if he didn't want her to understand, he would talk in Bengali. So he'd say, Bengali improved.
Uh,
After he would say, না না ওকে ওকে বলবে না ওকে বলবে না বলতে হবে না সবকিছু ওকে বলতে হবে I said, hey Ricky, you picking up Bengali? I have to you you're asking me silly questions and I can't answer. Then she would say whatever I said and I have to say something, make up something and say, so I have to speak in Bengali. So
yeah.
now that he's in America, he's in New York, and his current girlfriend is American. So whenever we ask him uncomfortable questions, he replies in Bengali.
But my
Yeah.
girls do exactly the
So
same thing.
that's
That's a
actually a
genius
good
for them.
way
Yes.
of.
Yes.
Huh?
That's it. My girls do exactly the same thing. They reply. Yes, they
So,
speak
so
in
like if
Bengali.
Sanjay has to give us any instructions when everyone else is there, he moves to the vernacular, and
Ah,
tells us.
see, this is why I knew that kids to do that because they're clever people. They know
Yeah.
that these guys.
Hello,
Hi,
Mukul.
Mukul.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry,
Mukul,
my
I know,
apologies.
Mukul, let me first tell you, we are not that bad, यार. आपने छोड़ दो थोड़ा सा. तो कुछ तो interesting पर बोलते हैं हम लोग. I know Sanjeev is related to you, but I guarantee you we had a great time. But without you, it was funny. Now you tell me your wife, Liz Verma. I've heard a lot about her through Sheba. So she is a bong, is it?
Yeah. Lisa is born and brought up Bong from Calcutta.
Who you ran away with?
That's
Yes,
right.
that's
Eloped.
the story we have to hear.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have to hear that.
The
It's a very
No, no, no.
exciting
elopement.
So,
story.
Yes.
Uh,
so she was Lisa Ghosh. So bits what we have done so far is basically just introduced ourselves to her becoming a son-in-law, of how we became Bengali son-in-laws.
Yeah.
So you can just bring that and come up to speed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the percentage of being a Bengali son in law was pretty high, I mean, since we were living there in Calcutta. I mean, I was born and brought up. I mean, for 30 years of my life, I had never been outside Calcutta. So obviously, I mean, one knew Bengali girls much more than the non-Bengali girls,
o-Bangali.
and
It is not
that's right.
non-Bengali. It is o-Bangali.
Okay. And the locality where we would stay, that also was, I think, a very
I
heavily
lost you there.
Bengali
Sorry,
dom.
I was
Yes.
away. That I was
No,
got
that's okay.
disconnected.
Even I dropped out. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
don't worry about it.
Yeah. So that
Yeah,
Hazra Lansdowne crossing,
yeah.
that was a very Bengali neighborhood. So obviously, I mean, in
No,
the
India,
beginning,
Indira Cinema. No, Indira Cinema.
no, Indra Cinema to was on main Hazra Road. This is more
Acha.
on the Lansdowne Road.
Oh, I see.
Uh,
I can't
Ne-
place it.
near,
Near Shishu Mandal Hospital.
Oh, dear Shishi, near Gold
Oh,
Park.
Shishu Mandal Hospital. Yeah, the
Near Gold
There.
Park, Gold
more
Park.
near Gold Park.
Yeah, more near
No.
No,
Gold
no, no,
Park.
not Gold Park.
Yeah,
Where
Shishi
Gold Park?
Mandal in Gold Park.
No, no.
then Shekhar, I think you're confusing Deshpia Park.
No, no,
Oh,
Deshapriya Park.
Deshipriya. No,
So
no,
Lansdowne.
Deshipriya Park
Okay.
is different. Correct, that's stand down.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were towards, that motor vehicles. I don't know. If you went on a bus, they would say motor vehicle, then Lansdowne Market,
Uh-huh. Correct,
then
correct.
Hazra.
Okay,
Yeah.
then you're right. It is Lansdowne. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, so it was close to that.
Hmm.
So obviously, I
Yeah.
mean, grew up in a very Bengali neighborhood
Uh-huh.
uh, where, your first girlfriends were all Bengalis.
How many of
And
them were there? Hmm.
Yeah,
hmm.
that's
He had quite
important
a
to
few,
us.
yeah.
Mukul very gently let that slip in. Your first girlfriends were Bengalis.
Well, Shekhar, you know how it happens. Those puja
Uh,
time and,
oh yeah, yeah.
the uh,
Hello Mukulda, keep hello. Hello Mukulda, how are you?
bhalo bhalo. And,
Come on, Acho.
so
You're
the,
North Indian. You're North Indian. You're looking very good.
uh, no, no, you're UPite. UPite.
Oh, you're
Okay,
UPI.
UPI.
Yeah.
Uh, you're
UPI.
Yeah.
UPite. And
Yeah.
when we're talking about the 70s of Calcutta, I think it was magical. The
Oh yes,
puja, the whole
absolutely. I
atmosphere,
completely agree
ambience,
with you.
everything was.
Oh,
Yeah.
even the St. Paul's Cathedral. We used to go for this Christmas, New Year one.
Midnight Mass. Yes.
That
Hmm.
mass. No, no, we didn't go for the mass, but I went for the daytime shit.
Okay.
Like chucking the balloons, firing at the balloons and necking the duck. You know what is that thing? The necking what is it? Rings around the duck's neck, whatever that is.
Yeah, no, but Saleh, you're right. I mean, I've been to,
Mm.
at least a couple of the midnight masses uh, during college time.
Uh,
So, a few of our friends, we would just walk in after strolling around Park Street, we would walk in for the midnight mass. That was also quite an experience.
Yeah, after a few drinks, it didn't matter what they said, right?
yes, exactly. But how has it
Mm.
been being a son-in-law of Bengal?
Oh, great. I mean, I think absolutely fantastic. Of course, once, I was sort of accepted in Lisa's family. Oh, it was absolutely, the fun, the food, the.
Have you
Uh,
had machir matha? That's what makes you a
oh,
Bengali.
yeah. So I still have Machir Matha, which is cooked by Lisa's mother. She stays with us. So whenever I buy my rohu fish, I always get the
Katla.
matha for her, and she cooks
That's
it very
something we are
nice.
never allowed in the house. We cannot get machir matha. My
Why
husband
is
does
that?
not understand. Now Param doesn't understand
No,
this
no, but
entire.
actually, you're actually right. So there are two things that I also in a fish I can't get. One is the skin, and the other one is
Yes,
that the
yes,
head. Yeah.
yes,
So when I get a fish, I normally remove the skin and I
yes.
pass it to Sheba. Yeah, she eats it up.
Yes,
And
that's exactly what happens in our house. Because when Param got married, after the first year, Ma decided to do Jamai Shashti. And Param couldn't understand this Machir Matha business because we never really lived in Calcutta as such. We moved
yeah,
away, we went to Madras and Hyderabad. But this Machir Matha and Machir Deem, Param was like, He was shocked that somebody could have a machir matha. I mean,
Oh,
I kept telling him
having
this.
said that, I see. The first thing I was given was, again, talking about the fish here. I never ate non-vegetarian until I went to the boarding school, right? But even then, I never had these sort of things. It was more, sophisticated food than
Yes.
just
Oh,
eating.
I'm sorry, but machir matha is sophisticated food.
So no, you see, what happened was when I came to my in-laws' house, the first thing they said is, "Hey, Jamai is here," and they gave this, kasha. What is that called? That
Yes,
brass,
kasa thala.
copper,
Yes,
copper,
yes, yes, yes.
thala, and they give all this fish and Ipshita would she knew exactly what Jeeves and Mukula are saying. She would sit
Yeah.
next to me, and I couldn't handle the bones. I couldn't handle she would never give me the mache muro. Muro na.
Hmm.
So she would never give me that. She would say, "Listen, now khabe na, shaker khabe na," and she would do all that. She'd take the bones out and she'd give me that. And they'd all say, "Baba, কি ভালো জায়গা, কি ভালো, সত্যি বরের জন্য কত করছে." So it was all very funny. It was also funny. And then I would sit there, they'd say, "Hello, Shekhar, bhalo, you are liking it?" I said, "Very liking, very good. I've got a vegetarian for you also there." I said, "Good." I used to have a nice time. And then I used
Yeah,
to like the posto, aloo posto, jige
Oh,
posto, and with bhat,
you
which
cannot be
used
a
to do.
Bengali if you don't like posto. Sanjeev, have you got
My
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
food
That
now
posto
is
used to really
Bengali
put me
food.
off to sleep. Yeah,
Oh, yes,
it's
because
a,
it's poppy seeds,
it's
pal.
yes.
it's.
yeah. So, we shifted to Delhi about 30 years back in 89.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
since then, I think for every Sunday, our lunch has always been Bengali.
Oh,
So,
you lucky guy. Mm.
yeah. So
I
basically,
love
Lisa
a
just
bomb
rustles
lunch.
up. Yeah. And we are lucky, in Delhi, if you,
Uh,
in those days, of course, we would go to Chitto Park and INA.
Hmm.
And,
mhm.
and, and now that I stay in Gurgaon, there are so many of
Yes.
these fish outlets where you can pick up anything.
Hey, Booker,
Uh,
do you get the roll there? By
yeah,
Kolkata,
yeah, you
Calcutta
get the
Kati roll.
kati rolls.
But
Yeah,
it's
you get
not
the kati rolls, but they're not as good as what you get in
The
Calcutta. I
Nizams.
mean, oh,
Not like the Nizams.
no.
nay,
And
not like
even
the
the other
Nizam.
one. There used to be under Karnani Mansion. There used to
Kanani
be.
Mansion. Oh,
Oh
man,
my
that is
God!
fantastic.
Have you
Oh,
been there?
So
Have you
which
seen
one
that
was
I
that?
place?
The
did, of
Kanani
course.
man.
As you walk around
Yeah.
Park
It's to
Hotel
the
on your,
side.
it's on the same side as Park Hotel
Same
on Karnani
side, the
Mansion.
big
Yes,
gate, next to the gate.
yes. And there used
And
to
you
be a
had
man.
Saleha, you had next to Mola Road, was this side. Then you had Magnolia, then on the opposite.
That's right.
Uh,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Ain John ka opposite, exactly opposite that huge
Exactly
gate.
that. And there used to
Uh,
be this man, dirty fingernails, used to wear a
oh,
lungi. He used to
yes.
make
And
those
Gamcha.
rolls and put it on his thigh. But oh my God,
Well,
it was so
well,
good.
I
Saleh,
love the way he slapped the
Yes.
dough on the stone thing. He slapped it hard and it would expand, and then I was gone.
Yeah.
And then they came out
yeah.
the crispy part.
Saleh, so let me tell you this particular
Uh,
outlet we are talking about on Park Street. This is now the number one roll joint. So if
which
you
Really?
one is
go
that?
to, yeah, so if you go to order a roll, you will have to wait at least 10 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
you see, Nizam's has changed hands. The ownership has changed, and you'll be surprised. What I heard is that the owners are Marwaris. So,
Selling
uh,
beef.
Thought as much.
Wow.
Thought as much.
yeah. Uh,
Okay.
so, uh, so you can understand the Marwari taking over the Nizam business and
Can you
dishing
imagine?
out. Uh,
Yeah.
No, but
and
but
and
there used to be bits. There used to be three or four of them, right? So there was Nizam, and there was another Muslim,
Bihar, Bihar.
Bihar,
Bihar, this
opposite.
thing,
Yes.
and then so there were three of those. So all of them have been bought over by that Marwari chap.
Nay, I know about Nizams because a few years back I had gone and checked it out. So it's no longer the same. The taste,
Yeah,
it
obviously.
become
Yeah.
more like a restaurant.
Yeah.
I
Not
remember
So
we used
I
to
exactly.
hang out there.
so I
Yeah,
we used
yeah.
to hang out with
Post party,
Sheba.
that was the
I've gone a
place.
lot
Yes.
to gone a lot to this place called Lahore Hotel. I don't know if you remember. Lahore Hotel used to be near New Cinema.
Where
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Newspaper? I think I remember the name. I can't place it though.
But he used to make amazing food. Yeah, like beautiful. It's like
Yeah, yeah. The bean curry, the bheja fry.
yeah, the bheja fry and
Wow, the
naan.
bheja fry.
Exactly.
I can have bheja fry all the time.
Yeah.
On this
So
note, we have to go
And
because it's like too long.
and Sanjeev, close by used to be this place where you would the best Mughlai parathas, that Boshanto cabin or something like that.
correct.
I forgot the name.
Mahesh Kevin. Mahesh Kevin.
Mahesh
There were
cabin. You know that.
two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, the best
Where is
Mughlai.
this? Where is this?
Uh,
Mahesh
uh,
Kevin opposite what used to be the U.S. library.
Yes,
yeah, the,
USI.
US, yeah, that's right. Just
Yes, yeah, yeah,
diagonally
yeah.
opposite that, yeah,
I
in the
cannot
corner.
even remember.
So these two used to be there. We used to have our Mughlai paratha and then walk left, and there used to be Rally Singh's sharbat.
I remember
So,
Raleigh. Oh, that's
yeah,
actually the
yeah,
Oberoi's. Yes, yes, yes,
correct.
yes.
And then
That
you
was
keep walking down.
fantastic. Yes,
You'll come to Ritz Hotel, and then
yes,
you not
yes,
yeah, and then Oberoi's. Yeah, that's right.
yes, 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 yes. But
So
Ritz is
actually,
now.
Calcutta was so small, and these used to be the hangout. So
Yes,
whenever you have to go down, you with Cheba and all used to be, hanging around there. So and towards when we started working, then we used to hang out at Oberoi's only. Oberoi's
of
used to
course.
be there, Polynesia. There used to be a
Yes,
live
yes,
crooner.
I remember that.
I
Yes,
think
yes.
Pam Crane or someone used to sing there. Yeah. So
No, Pam Crane used to sing where in Blue Fox, isn't it?
no, no. One of these crooners used to sing in
Mhm.
Polynesia. I don't know whoever it was. And so they used to recognize us, because we are so frequent. And then Sheba used to live in YWCA, so it was just around the corner. So, and I
yeah,
was in Alipur,
and
yeah.
and Calcutta was still, it was a very pleasant place to even walk around. You could
Yeah.
walk. Uh, I mean, I walked from Lansdowne. I walked all the way to Park Street.
Yeah, yeah. You remember the New Year's Eve time when we walked? My God, we walked all the way from Park Street, all four of us, we just walked straight down to Lansdowne and, dropping people on the way, just walking.
Yeah,
I think when you think of it, compared to Delhi, Calcutta is really, really small.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
remember
It is.
walking from Nazareth Villa to my brother used to be in Jadavpur. So, walk to his hostel because by the end of the month, we never had money to do anything else. So, yeah, there were many times that, I would just walk to his hostel. So, yes. And
Hmm.
so, anyway, good memories of Calcutta. Shekhar is gone. And I think on this note, we also say goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Okay.
Thank you. It was
Thank you,
Okay.
lovely
Muthu.
See
joining
you.
in.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, Sanjeev. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
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 Take care. Bye.